from 3 to 2. Oh, back to 3. And someone already said hi. Someone's already hanging out. Okay. It's Monday, March 16th, 2020. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, not working from home. That was the best title we could come up with for what this episode actually is. So what's new? Opening bit-wise, I think we're both working from home now.
Yep. They told me, if they said go to work, I'd be like, all right, and I would go to work. If they said hockey is open, we're having hockey, I'd go to the hockey. But they said, nope, hockey is closed and don't come to work. So I'm not going to work and I'm not going to hockey.
Yep.
Because it's not there to go to.
Yep. We'd been practicing
I could go to my work and be alone.
We were doing a lot of people working from home thing for a couple weeks, but now we're in the situation where due to the city's rule changes and everything and Midtown being empty, it's just 100% work from home.
Yeah, and so after I left work on Wednesday night, they messaged and said, all right, we're going to test working from home for everyone Thursday and Friday.
Oh, we did that a couple weeks ago.
Of course, my team, I guess the rest of the company doesn't have this, but my team of programmer people, basically, we already worked from home sort of whenever we wanted mostly, right? I did it actually less than other people. I just did it like when I needed to get shit done, like laundry or, chores or errands, right?
Yep.
But anyway, so I already knew I could work from home. I didn't need to test it. But they said, all right, Thursday and Friday. Meh. So I went back Thursday morning to get the computer, came back. And then I think it was Friday after work, there was a message like, okay, all next week working from home. And then apparently sometime on Sunday, the message was work from home until April 6th, which is this week, next week, and the week after. So at least April 6th, who knows? So that is I woke up this morning and turned on the work computer, assuming I was working from home this week. And it's like, no, working from home pretty much all month.
Yeah, I'm pretty ready for it. We, Emily and I both working from home, made some lunch. Like, we're just cooking food because restaurants are all closed, obviously.
Yeah,
but
they'll do delivery or takeout.
Yep. I'm going to see tomorrow if the Baroness will continue to do takeout or if they're just going to shut down.
Yeah, so on, was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I forget. I think it was Saturday. I don't remember. It was just a blur. I'm home all the time, so there's no separation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not that
Anyway.
we're talking about that topic, but the people, when I've worked from home for long periods of time, the lack of separation starts to make your life just feel like one long day.
Anyway, so we're like, okay, let's order, since we're all stuck at home, let's order delivery from Vesta. It's half fancy.
Get the lasagna.
Yeah, and so delivery shows up very promptly. Delicious food, right? The delivery guy hands me the bag. I take the bag. I turn around. I say goodbye. He goes in the elevator. I close the door. I start walking towards the table, and then all the food falls out of the bottom of the bag.
Oh no! Oh no! That is not what I expected. I thought it was gonna be like then the doorbell rings.
No.
Whoa!
And I'm just like there was like less than a fraction of a second.
Oh no!
Where I felt something wrong, and then I'm looking at food all over the floor.
I know that feeling. I know.
Only the Brussels sprouts stayed in their metal container with plastic lid.
No, it would be easier to deal with them than the lasagna because I assume you got a lasagna.
Oh, there's a lasagna on the floor. There was a Jesus cake on the floor. There was a pasta on the floor.
The worst thing is, what do you do other than go?
So I called the restaurant and was like, look, this is crazy, but this is what happened. And then I called Grubhub and they said, okay, we'll refund you for everything except Brussels sprouts. So then because we were so crazy hungry, we ate the Brussels sprouts. And then I called the restaurant back and I said, you know what? We're just fucking coming there. So we went there and we ate exactly the same thing we ordered. And then we went back home. But yeah, it was really meh.
That's I remember a moment.
It was very meh.
It was similarly a meh moment, but this was way back when we lived in Beacon, and I was just real sick. I had like a real bad flu. You were like off at work, like doing your normal thing. I was home alone. I was sick, and the only food we had left in the house that was like easy enough to cook when I was sick was the last Jamaican beef patty.
Oh, you and your Jamaican beef patty.
I used to love those things, so I found out they were basically just 100% trans fat.
Don't eat those.
But trans fat wasn't known to be bad back then.
Uh-huh.
So I have this Jamaican beef patty, and I've heated it up in the convection oven, and I put it on. Remember
You
those?
had a convection oven?
Well, the little toaster oven.
A regular toaster oven.
Yeah, it also is a convection oven. It had a convection mode.
I don't think it had a fan in it.
It did. I remember that one very well.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Mine, the one that broke and we threw it away later.
I don't remember this.
Anyway, I cooked this Jamaican beef patty, and I put it on the last of the kitchenware I had from RIT when I lived in the dorms. Those clear glass plates that were scratched to hell.
Okay.
And I turned around, and it caught on the sleeve of my towel I was wrapped in, because that's how sick I was. And the towel flung the plate end over end onto the ground, and the plate shattered on the Jamaican beef patty.
Nope.
The last food we had.
There's no eating that beef patty now.
I am not too proud to admit that I did end up eating about a third of that Jamaican
You
beef
had
patty.
shards of glass in your guts.
So the glass broke into big chunks, and there was a piece of Jamaican beef patty that had like broken off and was on the floor, just dirty, but without any. So I basically picked the dirt off the bottom and like cut it up, and I ate what I could. And that was literally the saddest meal I've ever had in my entire life.
And now your son doing the big Wall Street money. You used to eat Jamaican beef patties.
I used to eat
shards of glass.
Jamaican beef patties while hiding my car from the repo guy. And eating Johnny cakes on a regular basis.
Okay, well.
That was not that long ago in my life.
Anyway.
Yep. Though there is one pretty interesting and good news about Grubhub and like delivery orders and all that. They have suspended the commissions they charge to independent restaurants.
I don't know. So why don't they just do this permanently?
Well, because then they can't make any money.
Too bad.
I mean, yeah, we should nationalize a bunch of things. Like, I'm not getting there. I'm just saying that this is a private company that is. This is not pure altruism. It's definitely enlightened self-interest, because if you are the company that delivers food from restaurants to people and all the restaurants go out of business, you too go out of business. So it is in your enlightened self-interest to help restaurants not go out of business.
That's true.
And two, they're only doing it for independent restaurants. So like if you order from McDonald's, they're still going to charge McDonald's that commission.
I didn't know McDonald's was on Grubhub.
Dude, all the fast food is. Just why would
Really?
you? I could get Taco Bell delivered here right now. I could get White Castle
Please
delivered
don't.
here. I kind of want to get a White Castle.
Please don't.
White Castle has vegan options now. They got
doesn't
beyond
mean
what
that you
they
should
got
eat them.
Impossible White Castles.
It's still White Castle, whether it's vegan or not.
I love White Castle.
Okay. Well,
White Castle, my brain, my mouth, not my brain so much, but my mouth and maybe my brain stem really want to eat a Jamaican beef patty.
If I owned White Castle, I would open up a new restaurant called Black Castle, and it would actually be like ridiculously high quality food,
Ooh.
and not like fast food, but it would be like Black Castle.
No, White Palace.
Maybe
And you make
Black
a whole
Palace,
Yeah. Or
Brain Palace,
Yeah, make the portcullis, just the portcullis.
Portcullis.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Make the fort, White Fort.
anyway. But yeah, food all over the floor was, in the grand scheme, that's not really a disaster, but it just felt so disastrous
Oh.
because to be so hungry
Oh.
and to have all the food all over the floor and like the wasting of the food just felt so bad.
I
that
mean,
a lasagna all over the floor that could
scale-
have been eaten.
the scale of our two stories and the time separation, they're very different stories, but I think we both felt in that brief moment the same pain.
Just like some great, just like a great extreme
Disturbance
despair.
in the force. One mouth suddenly is very sad. Ooh. I feel like that gave the Thursday show food disasters.
I don't have any other food disasters.
I have a couple, not many.
Okay.
Most of them are more my parents failed in a cooking of some kind. Or
I remember at least one fire in the stove when I was a kid.
I remember a lot of food disasters at RIT that were not caused by us, but the fire alarm would go off and we'd come out and we could all tell which apartment caused the problem.
Mm.
And multiple times it was a specific apartment that had two people who we know living in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we ever caused it.
Nope.
So I was feeling, usually around this time of year I get antsy. I get that spring feeling that,
Well,
hey,
first of all, we have not done a Monday show since last year.
Yeah.
It's already March.
Monday was like the hardest hit by our hiatus.
Monday is still the hardest day to do. Send us Monday show ideas because we don't have any.
Yep.
And
Because
usually, when you run out of Monday show ideas, Rim wants to do
Tech News Roundup.
But
Because I would be happy if Monday was just, what's the most recent tech news? Let's just do it, Twit style, but better.
But anyway, I
wasn't
guess
ready.
the rule that we have come up with is that we can do Tech News Roundup once a year, and that happens to be in March.
The last time we did it was March 4th.
It's been over a year since the last Tech News Roundup, but yet
I was
we
not
are
ready.
not doing a Tech News Roundup.
The one time, usually the story goes, Rim says, let's do a Tech News Roundup. Scott says, when was the last time we did it? And Rim says, fuck.
Yeah.
Sometimes Scott says, when was the last time we did it? And Rim says, it's been over a year. And then I'm really excited and we do it. I wasn't ready.
Nope.
Next Monday, the next Monday show we do will definitely be a Tech News Roundup.
So send us ideas for the Monday show after that one.
Yep. But
Also send us tech news.
Yep.
Because I haven't found any tech news. I got a news that's from last year.
All right, here's the tech news. So
Well,
SETI,
Rim's doing his news first, I guess.
yeah. So SETI at home is pretty forgotten by younger people. Like, young people don't even know this exists.
Yeah, this was basically the first major project.
That was distributed computing.
Right. Well,
on
there was
consumer...
distributed computing to consumer PCs.
Yeah.
The idea that someone with a lot of computer processing that they needed to do would, in the olden days, get a supercomputer. And there are still supercomputers that do these things. They're used for, like, weather modeling and shit like that,
Yep.
right? But what they SETI at home was like, hey, we don't want to pay for a supercomputer. Let's do this. Let's break up all of our input data into chunks, send the chunks out to different people with normal computers at their homes, and those normal computers will process that input data using their home desktop Intel CPU, and they'll be volunteering their CPU, and the program will run when the person's not using their computer, and that way it won't slow them down when they are using the computer, because otherwise the CPU is just going to waste sitting there not being used.
Yeah.
And then we'll send all of its outputs back to the main central repository where it will be stored and collated, and then we'll send them more inputs. And it was a really good idea. A lot of people followed on this idea.
This was real exciting. And remember, this shit is from 1999.
Oh, yeah. So in college, a lot of people ran this. I ran it from time to time.
I ran it in high school.
Yeah. And it was a thing, and it's continued to be a thing. And they would process the data of radars and telescopes listening to radio signals from outer space.
And the idea was basically to look at all the data that no one's looking at too closely to figure out...
Yeah, because the amount of data they were collecting was so enormous. You're listening to all of outer space 24/7 to a vast variety of radio frequencies at all times. That's a lot of data coming in. You need a lot of... you can't look at it all even with a supercomputer.
Yep. And remember, back then, there weren't like bitcoins to mine or anything. Like, This was it. And because a lot of the people who had computers were more nerdy, people were kind of into it. And it was partly like people got excited about SETI and excited about science.
It felt also like,
I'm helping.
Well, not just you're helping, but like, hey, I bought this computer. When I'm not sitting at it, it's just sitting there going to waste, this expensive, fancy machine.
And back then, it didn't use that much power.
It's pointless for it to sit here doing nothing. This is great.
I mean, the computer I ran this on first had like a 40-watt power supply.
Yeah, so since then, there have been a lot of other... There's a platform called Boinc, B-O-I-N-C, that hosts many similar projects, and you can choose which projects you want to dedicate CPU time to.
Yep.
The big one, I think, still, which has also been going on for a super long time, and I think is still going on, is Folding at Home, which does protein folding.
Yep.
To find various medical
I think I even saw a coronavirus one folding protein specifically to help that research.
Yeah, so I think that's still out there. But
yeah.
So the news is...
SETI at Home is finally, after all these years...
21 years?
Suspending operations.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. Partly,
so that means they're just not sending out new inputs to people who are running it?
They're basically going to spin it down for now, partly because the architecture didn't really... it's old architecture.
Yeah,
They've improved it over the
20 years.
Yep. They're even telling people, hey, we encourage you to try these other Boink-based projects while we decide what to do next. But it's on one hand, the project is so old that tech has moved a long way since then.
Oh, yeah.
Two, they've got a lot of data that now, SETI at Home did identify a bunch of things that require further study. Now they need to do that. They need to do the part that's not as easily
Well, couldn't they just
distributed.
make SETI at Home to process the things that were already processed?
Possibly, but the problem is...
we'll send out to you all the work that people already did to search through it.
But not to turn this into the distributed computing thing, but the kinds of problems that are the things that make sense to do this kind of distributed computing for are very particular kinds of problems. Not every problem can be mapped to packets of questions that can be answered by untrusted hardware.
Nope, not at all.
And it's a there's a whole trust but verify mechanism in these systems that we do not have time to get
There's
into.
all kinds of stuff going on there. That could have been our Monday show idea.
Yep. But basically what they said is one, the result table is going to the point where it no longer fits in their main memory. That's been slowing down the validators and assimilators, which is causing the result table to grow even further. They want to get that down to a manageable size. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff, but probably SETI at home will reemerge someday on a more modern platform with a different type of problem to solve. But probably this kind of research does not need your individual computer's help right now.
No.
And there are better problems to aim those computer resources at.
And not mining not mining bitcoins.
Yeah, don't mine your coins.
Yeah, don't mine any kind of coin.
And all I want to talk about is just that this is a very long-running and I would argue extremely successful project, and
historically significant.
It only saddens me how many people will only be learning about it today because it's ending. Even if they weren't doing it, like I think a lot of younger people just don't even know it existed.
Yep. All right, so usually when news happens, we completely forget about it. And the only news we talk about in the news section of the show is news that happened that day, because I come to do the show, and I open up the news, and I look, and I see what's on the news that day. So if there was a news even the day before a Geek Nights episode, it's unlikely to be talked about on a Geek Nights.
Yep.
And since we haven't done a Monday show since last year, there was a news since I think it was late last year that we didn't discuss in any Monday show because we haven't done a Monday show.
I think we've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it between us, but not on the show.
Or maybe we did and we just couldn't find it. But
yeah, or we did talk about it on the show and we didn't actually remember we did. But I remembered because I couldn't find any decent tech news. I managed to remember this old tech news because people are talking about VPNs because they're working from home.
Yep.
Right? And there was a VPN-related news, and that is there is a project called WireGuard, right? And WireGuard is pretty good VPN, right? It's if you look at the source code relative to like other VPNs, like say an OpenVPN or any of those, it's simpler, easy to understand, more well-coded, more modern, just pretty much better in most ways, right? It's like a legit quality VPN for 2020.
Yep,
right?
nice and generic, looks pretty easy to set up.
Right. And the news is that this VPN it's old news already, like a few months old. It is being included in the Linux kernel. So like the kernel has this VPN just fucking in it.
Yep.
Right? So basically, for all intents and purposes, this is now the VPN of choice. Like, all those other VPN softwares, get out of the way. WireGuard is the king right now.
This is similarly big news to way back when DRBD became a common part of Linux.
Right, and I don't think people are using that too much anymore these days.
I do still see people using it.
It's not being non-used, but I think it has been eclipsed.
Well, I think it's been eclipsed by cloud computing.
Yes.
And because you don't need to solve that problem that way if you're not using physical hardware directly.
Exactly. But yeah, so I think, there's a lot of people who are still currently using other sorts of VPNs, and I think you're gonna see over the next, year or few, they're slowly all gonna be replaced with this. The way that Git, another Linux project, right, slowly erased all the other source control.
I think you'll
systems.
see a lot of remote access applications.
It's only been a few months, right? But
even games, I think, bit by bit, like I think people will use WireGuard on the back end of things they're building that need a like pseudo local LAN.
Right, and also this VPN, since it's included in the kernel, right? You can now, when you're writing, say, a server that runs on Linux, you can like count possibly on it being there, and then you could use it for something. So like, you could incorporate VPN into other projects much more easily without requiring that, the people running your project like separately set up a VPN, right?
Well, like today, say an old PC game like Tribes 2. You want to play that with people on the internet, you need to make some sort of fake network.
You need to make
a
fake VPN or a VPN of your own and then run Tribes 2 and have Tribes 2 think it's on a LAN.
Yep.
Right?
This would make that way easier if you just embedded that into your hacked libraries and your hacked executable.
You can now make a game, right? And the game would connect with WireGuard, right? Invisibly, and now everyone running the game is on a LAN with everyone else who's playing the game and now can play with each other. So, that's just one idea.
Yep. And you know what?
And also, it was a much better, more secure, right? Open source VPN
Oh
that
my
is
God, even just
definitely does not have backdoors inserted by the government or any kind of shenanigans like that.
Also,
like, you
just
can trust this shit
scanning the
more than
page,
other VPNs.
like looking at the configuration, kind of like how it works, like how you configure it. It's pretty straightforward.
oh yeah, it's way
Like
it's,
this is not rocket science.
it's actually like I said, it's like a big step up in VPNs versus the same way the Git was a big step up in version control.
They even say, I'm going to quote their own website, compared to behemoths like Swan,
Yeah.
IPsec,
Yep.
OpenVPN, OpenSSL, in which auditing the
Right. Well, for example, right, OpenSSL.
Swan.
OpenSSL is a giant project that has
Yep.
a million cryptographic kinds of related things
You
in
could
it.
probably insert legit straight up malware and no one would notice
Right.
if you put it in
but
the right
OpenSSL
spot.
is enormous because it's like a Swiss Army knife of
Yeah.
encryption and security. WireGuard is just VPN. It doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why it's a lot better at it.
I'm increasingly a fan of elegant, simple tools like this that are a server client, but also just the library to use to do that thing.
Right. So if you are out there and you are about to set up a VPN a VPN
Say you're a
like,
tiny game studio and you don't have a work from home solution.
a VPN-like structure somewhere,
Yep.
anywhere, this should be the first thing you look at for setting that shit up.
Now, I do think generally, if you're running a service or a company or a group, you should try to use tools that are already natively online and don't require a local, like a LAN. But a VPN is a really quick way to take like an internal dev environment with giant assets that you haven't ported to Amazon, accessible to everyone. Or like,
Well, right, I'm saying just listen to our VPN episode for
Yeah.
the uses of VPNs.
but then use this one.
But this one did not exist when we made that episode.
What the fuck did we
or
even
at least
suggest
it
people
wasn't
use?
included in the kernel.
I want to listen to that old episode. What the hell did we tell people to use?
I don't know.
Because I've set up VPNs before on like Cisco routers, and that shit sucks.
Yeah. Well, now you don't have to do that anymore.
I
Anything with Linux kernel, run
Hello,
WireGuard.
darkness, my old friend. One last news, more of a PSA, but I saw this story out of the UK, and I feel like this could be a bigger problem. For various reasons, there seems to be a temporary toilet paper shortage in a bunch of parts.
Yeah, I don't know why. I still don't understand why you're buying TP. I got enough TP.
I don't think your butt's clean enough.
I got plenty, and the store has some.
Well,
and
so the funny thing is, as much as I see all these shortages of TP in the US, even when I was in Midtown, like Wednesday last week, yeah, like the TJs and like all the like Costco's are also out of everything. The K-Deli had toilet paper. So did like the CVS, like all the non-big stores.
The
seem to be
toilet paper
fine.
factory doesn't have like a shortage of paper. They're still churning out rolls at the same rate they were before. You're just buying them too fast for no reason.
Yep, unless you happen to have run out and like
So
had
now
a bad luck.
everyone's gonna be
But-
like my great aunt's house where they got too much TP.
But my PSA is this: if you somehow run out of toilet paper and have like a week where you can't get any, do not make AirSats toilet paper out of things that are not flushable. That is how you get fatbergs.
Oh my god.
Like that will literally destroy the sewer system, and then you're gonna have a problem.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I'm particularly talking about any of those flushable wipes that say they're flushable. Those things are not flushable.
No.
But
The
if
only
you,
thing you should flush down the toilet is poop,
yep,
pee, water, TP,
other bodily
vomit.
fluids. Like if you have a collection of blood you need to get rid of, like sure,
vomit.
yeah, all
I don't
that
know if you
biz.
should flush blood down.
Well, it depends on how much blood.
I guess it's okay because, like, you know, if you're sick and like you pee blood, you can flush that. but
If
then
you've got,
go
I'll
to
tell-
the doctor.
Here's the line. If
Go
you-
to the doctor right
Here's
away.
the line. If you have got more than say a quart of blood just hanging around, do not pour that down the drain. Call either the police or a hospital because
Yeah, where did
one
you
of the either
Why
an
do you have
ambulance-
that?
Either an ambulance or a police car needs to show up at your house.
All right. Right, and I'm sure you don't need any virus-related news on Geek Nights. You can get that from places with actual doctors. But I
Yep.
do want to let anyone know that because there are no large gatherings, and there should not be large gatherings, I
Yep.
guess, for safety. That is what doctors smarter than me say.
Yep, no more than 50 people should get together in major cities as of like dateline 6:30 p.m. EDT on March 16th.
But anyway, because there are no large gatherings, there is a very big shortage of blood that we just mentioned.
Yep.
Right? Because usually blood drives happen at large gatherings like Anime Boston.
Yep.
always had a
Anime
blood
Boston
drive.
is a shockingly big blood drive.
Yeah. It's like basically they have tables to donate blood, and during Anime Boston, all those tables of blood donating were occupied the entire time of Anime Boston. And I saw lots of you walking around Anime Boston with the gifts you got for donating or whatever.
Yep. I gave almost every year. I remember the last 2 years I didn't give, partly because I was worried I would get sick
Anyway,
from the nerds at the con, not because of anyway.
the point is, it is safe to go and donate blood if you go to a blood donating place, right? They're hoping you come. It's not a crowded place. It's a place full of doctors. It's a clean place.
Yep.
Don't go there if you're fucking sick. Jesus Christ.
Yep. And if there's a line out the door, maybe
No, usually
schedule
usually
something.
you make an appointment. You don't just show up, right?
Yeah.
But there will be a blood donating place near where you live, wherever that is. Go there. I'll probably make an appointment whenever. It's not
Yep.
like I have to go to work. So I got time.
Yep.
And yeah, as long as you're not sick. And answer their questions honestly. Don't lie to them.
Yep.
So.
Even though there's one question that
We
is
know,
still-
but that's
yep.
not a topic for today.
Yep, that
But
question
it's bullshit.
We know that question is bullshit.
Yeah,
Everyone smart knows that question is bullshit.
that's right.
But anyway, it's time for Things of the Day. So I gotta, a lot of the channels I watch on YouTube lately, as much as I love them, I can't just make them my things of the day because it's like Techmoan, the 8-Bit Guy, Big Clive. Like, a lot of the videos I watch are from the same set of like 20 YouTube people who are like tear apart Dodgy Electronics or like.
I will not link Lockpicking Lawyer again
Yep.
unless he opens a lock by breathing on it.
But I found one that I can link to because I haven't talked about it on Geek Nights yet. Practical Engineering. It's one of my
Okay.
favorite channels because, one, they're really short videos, like 5 to 10 minutes long.
All right.
Two, they're actually practical, useful engineering concepts and skills. And they're things like, say you got a tiny dam on a tiny creek in your town, and you wonder what the deal is with like all those weird ridges at the bottom, or like a berm, or a drainage ditch, or any of those kinds of things. These videos explain like the physics and engineering behind those in a very direct and practical way. And it teaches actual useful practical skills.
Okay.
Like, how do you hold pipes together? How do you hold pipes together underwater or underground? The answer is not weld them together. Very rarely do they do that. Why, if you have a faucet, here's one that actually might be super useful to some of you. Do you have a faucet in your house or your school where if you close it too quickly, you hear like this bang in the distance? That is real fucking bad news. It's called a water hammer.
No, I have not had that.
You never encountered that?
No, but I've had faucets where you turn it on
And they go...
and it goes digga digga digga, and then the water comes out.
Yep, this can explain that too.
Okay.
This channel's just real good. And the one I'm going to link to is, why do pipes move underground? Like, you put some pipes down, why do they move? Why is this a problem? Why do pipes break if nothing
Because
touches
the
them?
Earth is alive.
It has nothing to do with the Earth.
Things get hot and cold.
Nope.
Okay.
It has to do primarily with the pressure of the fluid going through the pipes, coupled with when there are curves or joins in the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about that in detail. Yes, there are like if there's an earthquake, yes, that'll also move the pipes.
No-
if you
no shit.
didn't fill the pipes in the right way. But this channel is just really cool because it mostly shows very like he'll make a little rig to like demonstrate the principle that you could literally just go into your backyard and make in like a couple hours. So what do you got?
So, way back in the 70s, right, some enterprising person, what's their name? Steve Peck,
Steve Peck.
right? After, Looney Tunes had ended over a decade earlier, right? Or at least they had Warner Brothers had stopped making new ones before they started again, obviously, right? Made their own Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck cartoon in which Elmer Fudd is a drug dealer in Central Park. And the
I clicked on
and the mafia bosses
my boy Yosemite
are pressuring Elmer to sell his drugs to pay them what he owes. And Daffy and Bugs are the addicts he's trying to sell to. And, they try to pull a fast one over on him because that's
Now,
how they do.
I see people make videos like this to My Little Pony all the time. Why is this
But
special?
yeah, they basically did a complete animation, right? They animated all the characters and did all the voice acting only most of the backgrounds are just like video of Central Park
Yep.
as opposed to drawn backgrounds. And it's a complete animation. It's like actually like 7-8 minutes long.
8.5 minutes long.
Right. It's like a full Looney Tune length. So the story, I think the person said that they showed it.
They showed it to
Tex Avery, and Tex Avery loved it and was said like, this is incredible, except I'm 80 years old and I can't offer you a job because I'm 80 years old.
Yep.
And they showed it to
Chuck
Jones, and Chuck Jones was conservative and like, get this the fuck out of here, you piece of shit. Said something not nice.
The coolest thing about this, though, is just that 1975, this is like...
Yeah, this person had cells and animated by hand, right? Just
looks
on
like
their own for fun.
They definitely, you can see the VCR tech and like there's
they weren't the best at animating, but they were pretty good, better than me.
Yep, especially considering the tool set yet available in 1975.
Right, the characters are off model, the animations are a little blah, the resolution's bad, but still way better than I would do. And for 70-something doing it at home, right?
This is the kind
and
of
also
thing-
it's the writing is, the pace is a little off. It's not. It could use an edit or two, but it's still got some good gags in it. Pretty funny.
This is the kind of thing before YouTube and the modern internet where someone would like have this file or have a VHS tape and bust it out at a party.
Oh, yeah.
And people would like not even believe that it existed.
This
until
would be
they
like a
saw it.
legendary VHS that like a few people would have a copy of.
Yep.
But now it's on YouTube. Everyone can see it.
This is actually kind of amazing. And not that many. This has only got 30,000 views.
Yep. I don't know what's up with that.
And 69 subscribers.
Hey.
I'll subscribe to Steve Peck. I hope he hasn't done anything bad.
We'll find out.
Comments are turned off on this too for some reason.
They probably should be. I'm
In the
surprised
memo-
there hasn't been a copyright takedown from Warner Brothers.
Maybe there has been. One of the things they can do is turn off comments on your videos.
We'll find out.
And monetize them.
We'll see.
In the meta moment, the GeekNights Book Club book is The Tale of Genji. I'm reading it.
Oh, right. No commute. So
Yeah, I got no commute.
does that mean less reading or saving on less between 1 and 2 hours a day?
The problem is if
more reading?
But if I'm home and I have time saved, I'm either making YouTube videos for Geek Nights or I'm playing Overwatch.
Yeah, I have been producing more content and playing more games, and I've been reading more comics but less books.
And I see a lot of you are bored. There's like 20 people watching this live stream right
what
now.
are you people doing? You got
Everybody's working from home.
go make something.
Yeah, we're making right now at least.
Yeah, I'm making something right now. Follow my example if you like me so much, and make something and stop watching and listening to something.
When will I read Tale of Genji now? Because commuting and pooping at work were the 2 times I would read it.
Maybe I should just do it whenever I poop, period.
Oh, the home poop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just if I poop, Kindle app only. That's the rule. That's the new rule.
All right, that's my new strategy.
The new rule is
Kindle app only. No Gauchon Clever.
If you poop, the only app you're allowed to open is an ebook reading app.
Yep.
All right, that's the new rule.
This is the way.
All right.
I saw the whole Mandalorian and I love it.
Okay.
You should watch There's only 4 more episodes.
I got other stuff to watch.
All I'm saying is, they do turn into plot stuff. It's not just more, here's a Kurosawa.
I'm sure they do. Anyway.
Anyway, otherwise, we do not have any conventions for a while. Not just because of coronavirus, but because actually our next scheduled major convention was going to be PAX West anyway.
Yep.
So-
So we'll see if PAX West happens. It's likely.
it looks like
50-50, I say.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but we'll see.
I haven't bought a plane ticket
So
yet.
Nerd and Tie, it seems like they're going to try to do an online convention where they're going to make a panels track, but what they want is people who normally do panels at nerdy conventions, regardless of what convention.
Sign us up for any of those that exist.
Yep, they want to just do audio only because that's easier to start.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out, the problem is most of our panels,
Slides.
without the slides, no, like 40 games you should play. Sounds easy, right? We don't fucking say the name of the game half the time because the slide is up. So I'm looking for panels we've done where the slides, it's okay for someone to just hear the audio and be able to look at the slides, but they can't need to see the slide to understand what we're talking about.
I've also been thinking about doing this for a while, even before everyone was sent home. I'm not sure if I should actually say my idea because then it would be shit talking.
No,
But
I'm not saying a thing I'm trying to work on right now.
No, but the idea I've had for a while, which I guess has a chance of coming to fruition because it is lower effort than other ideas, is the thing we're good at is doing panels, right?
Yep.
So why not just make panels and just do them for YouTube at home.
Yeah.
And then no one has to approve or reject our idea.
Meaning we can
no one can tell me not to do that panel. I
Yup.
can just come up with a panel. It doesn't have to be an hour. It could be longer. It could be shorter. It could be any topic. It could be anything.
And even better, we can use the new YouTube live stream premiere thing, so we can do it with an online audience to have at least people reacting to it.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I could just make some slides, stand in front of the camera, run the slides, edit the slides into the video.
Yep.
Right? I don't need to do it live, and then put it up, and there you go. And I could do it. For example, we'll do a panel.
Oh, I wanted to the one we did. We already have one panel we did that we've never videoed anywhere. I have an audio recording of it that I gave to the patrons only with slides.
But the point is, like, for example, we'll do a panel like how to win at games. I could take like just one slide from that panel, right? Like one way to win at games, and do like a panel.
Oh, yeah.
I could do like positional heuristic, the panel. It's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the video.
We can do all the also. A lot of those, what you just described, are the panels that we used to do as part of those triple threat panels we used to do at PAX, where we'd have 3 20-minute panel ideas, but we couldn't turn any one of them into an hour.
Right.
That's
so
like the perfect kind of content to do
I
now.
feel like this is a good idea.
I think to start, what we
Also,
should do competitive versus casual, because we already wrote that panel. We just haven't done it except at MagFest once.
I also want to point out we've had this idea of doing videos of how to win at board games.
I saw someone seems to be trying to do it too.
An awesome group of people is already fucking doing it, and I want to shout out to them. Let me just find out their name 1 second.
Yep, and shoot me a link at some point.
It's showmehowtowin.com. You can't.
Yeah.
So go to showmehowtowin.com. They are making videos, right? Showing you how to win at board games. That is the idea that we had. They're doing it and executing on it ahead of us. Props to them. That's awesome. We might also do it, but
I think our demographic, because I feel like the games we're going to focus on, the problem is we can only actually do this for games we've played enough to grok.
Yep.
And in the modern era, it's hard. We can't play like Maria 40 times like we did Puerto Rico.
Yeah. But anyway, there it is. If you're looking for that content and waiting for our slow shit-talking asses to do it.
They're moving faster. Go to them
someone else
first.
is already doing it. Go check them out.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So we're not talking about working from home because you're all sick of that shit.
We've done 2 episodes on that. In 2009, we did telecommuting. And in 2018, late 2018, we did work from home. So we're not doing that again. No matter how relevant it is, go listen to the old episodes. They're up there.
So when you're done looking at the bad screen, you're stuck at home. You're working from home. You've looked at the bad screen all day.
Yep, you have 2 screens at home now. You had a bad one and a good one, and
5:45 rolls around.
You close the bad screen. Shut that
you
shit
go
down.
get a Whopper and a 40. You turn off the bad screen, but you don't always want to just look at the good screen. Like sometimes you want to like go hang out with your friends or like do the stuff you normally do.
But you can't because it's a bad time.
So now you've got to not work from home with the good screen and the good screen
you're
only.
Still at home and you have to do not work things, right?
Yep.
And if you're not just a completely introverted person who's completely happy just hiding in your bed reading a book or playing video games, how are you going to replace your outside large social gathering biz when you're stuck in the house?
Yep. Now I do know a lot of introverted people online have pointed out that this is not nearly as hard for some people as this for others.
Obviously.
And very extroverted people are having a very hard time with this right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm even getting antsy. Like I gotta hang out. Like
I just get antsy because I didn't leave the house until I didn't leave until now. I've been in my house since Thursday. Since the last.
Oh God.
Oh no, since I went to the restaurant after the food fell on the floor.
We went outside to pick up essentials from the grocery store.
I'm going to the grocery on the way home. Then we're going back in the home.
Yep. And we go for a walk every day around lunchtime because we're both working from home.
I'm going to do biking.
Yep. But so if you're trapped inside and going crazy, like how do you do it in the modern era? And the good news is it's both harder and easier now than it's ever been. But we've lost a lot of the even better ways that used to exist. So it's kind of fractured now. And I think I want to focus on the things that actually work today and not try to get into like the history. Like IRC is dead unless you're crazy. Like don't pretend.
Oh, the technology doesn't matter. The point is, chat rooms don't really do it.
Nope.
Even when I'm going out of the house, I'm already in a chat rooms all day.
Yeah, like
Twitter doesn't do it. I'm already tweeting all day when I'm going out of the house. It doesn't help.
Like the only difference between me at work on the bad screen and me at home on the good screen is that I'm not checking my Discords and all my other things like constantly at work because I'm busy.
Right.
But I still like see them.
Right. So what you got to do is you got to replace, your large social gathering, right? So one thing you can do is it's still okay to have a few people over your house. That's not really a
Yep.
problem.
Read all the literature online. Like 2 households that are themselves.
I came over to this house.
Yep. Quarantining can merge together and share that risk within their local group. But like,
Yes.
don't do that with too many people. You can read online like the best practices for all this stuff.
Right. But so you could get some board games going on that way. But
Number 1, board games. Tabletop Simulator is pretty fucking good.
Yep.
It works. It's good enough.
I mean, it's not good, but if you're got no other choice, it's going to save you.
Yeah, because here's the deal. Tabletop Simulator is basically a physics engine with a bunch of like board game specific things built in to make it easy to make tabletop games. And it pretty much just works.
If the interface is really bad, it's hard to figure out how to get it started, but once it's started and you're connected, then you're good.
It does kind of just work. It partly depends on, you got to go find like games people have made, often of dubious legality.
The Steam Workshop.
Yep. But the one thing I'll say is if you happen to have a VR headset, it actually, this is the one time, like the only time, the UX in VR is way better than the UX on a desktop. Like it literally, like you reach out and
You don't
grab
have to know
cards.
what button to press to grab or put or
You want to roll some
draw.
dice? Grab them, throw them, they roll.
Yep.
Like it just works. Want to play a card?
Where
Just
is it?
play
How do you roll dice with the mouse? Like click on the dice and then I move.
Yep.
It's like you got to figure it out the buttons.
But my real advice is if you have a friend who's kind of into Tabletop Simulator, get them to teach all your friends how to use it and like play a few games just to learn. Like you'll fuck it up a few times.
Right. Find someone who is going to take the lead and be like, all right, I'm running this.
Yep.
Right. And then make it as easy as possible because you need these other people who are not, say, as technically savvy. This is the Monday show.
Yeah.
You have to be the one, the Monday Geek Nights listener who has not taken my advice to go do something else with your technical skills. You have to set it up and make it as easy as humanly possible for everyone else to get in on it in order to make it happen. If
and
you
even if
don't, it won't happen.
Even if you're a jerk and you hate your friends, like this is enlightened self-interest. Imagine a board game person. You love train games. No one around you loves train games. You have a vested interest in making people around you want to play train games with you. It's the same thing. If you're that TTS person, make TTS easy for your friends and they will totally do it with you and strike now while the iron's hot.
Right. So now you got to think about the other things that you're doing at home, right? Find ways to digitally connect with other people doing the same thing, right? So if you're introverted, you're staying inside the house, you're reading a book. Don't just read the book and put it on the shelf. Find other people who are reading the book.
Yep.
Right? Maybe make a little book club action going on.
Yep, just
maybe have a little, be like put on your schedule, like use your online schedule with your friends and be like, all right, everyone's working at home until 5. At 6 o'clock today or 7 after dinner, we're going to discuss chapters 1 and 2 of the book. Right, so now people actually feel obligated to read it. They'll do it while they're on their Kindle app, obligate on their toilet. They'll read the chapters.
This works real well with
because they're not allowed to do anything else in the toilet.
Any TV show you could watch, like anything. Like you want to rewatch TNG, just find other friends who also want to rewatch
Right,
TNG.
make other people consume the same media at the same time so that you can discuss with them intentionally. Right, so you're not sort of trapped in your own media landscape.
Now.
And also, a lot of things these days have features where you can watch together, where like you'll all be watching at the same time while you have a voice chat open. Right,
I'm trying some of those out.
It's like you're watching in the same room, even though you're watching in faraway rooms.
So I'm trying a bunch of those out to figure out which ones kind of work the best and have the least like dodginess to them.
Yep.
And we'll post in the forum like some recommendations once I try them out. But I found one that was kind of crazy, totally illegal. But I was in VR chat on Sunday, and someone made a room that was called the Anime Hangout Room. They made it recently.
And they're just showing anime in there.
So if you go into this room, it's like an apartment, and you can just kind of hang around in the room with this big screen on the wall, and they have a library of bootleg anime, full seasons of like recent stuff, and you can just start it. So you and like 20 people can hang out in VR chat watching an anime, but in a room interacting. It's actually pretty cool and kind of just works. Like,
yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work.
I hung out with some nerds and I watched like 10 minutes of Attack on Titan, and it was weirdly satisfying because it's not the same as like we're watching the show and then we talk about it. That serves one need. But you know that feeling of like you've got something on the TV, but you're also kind of just hanging out and like riffing off each other like in person. Because like two people can walk to the back of the room and kind of talk, and that talking is really quiet or even inaudible to people who are closer to the TV because it's all proximity based. VR chat is obviously only an option for people who have money or happen to already have a bunch of VR shit set up.
You can do VR chat with just your computer.
Yeah,
but,
the VR chat desktop client actually is pretty good.
Yeah, it works. I used it one time.
Yeah, so I'm going to explore setting up some hangout times in VR chat for people who want to hang out. But basically find the tools that enable these things like Tabletop Simulator, VR chat, whatever of the 10, watch anime with my friends in a semi-legal streaming manner, and use them. But like Scott said, you have to don't be the bystander. You have to be the person who facilitates.
Yep.
Make it happen for your friends. One person has to take that on and make it happen.
Right. And all those, since you have, if you're working from home, you'll have more spare time. At least for me, it's like 1 to 2 hours a day.
Yeah, for me, I don't because my commute is like 8 minutes.
Well, but I mean, like if I bike to work, it's what, 40-something minutes? So 40 minutes times 2, 80 minutes?
But if I bike to work, it takes 12 minutes. Like, I'm not really saving a lot of time.
I save a lot of time.
Emily walks to work.
Plus, there's also time saved not taking a shower, not getting dressed.
Wait, are you saying that you don't dress or take showers when you work from home?
I put clothes on right before coming here, and I haven't showered in 2 or 3 days.
So I did not shower this morning.
Do I smell bad? Do I smell bad?
No, you don't. I'm not going to pretend I showered this morning.
I'm gonna actually shave and shower when I get home tonight.
In fact,
that was my plan.
Because I was working all day.
I didn't want to shower. I would have showered this morning because I felt dirty, but I was gonna shave my head tonight. So I was.
I still shower once a day, but I don't have to shower right before work like normal.
Exactly.
My morning routine is a lot easier.
A lot of time is saved here and there, right? Yeah. And with that saved time, all those sort of higher effort things now become doable.
Yeah.
Right? It's sort of like, that board game that takes a lot of time to set up.
I got time to set it up before people join TTS to play it with me.
Right. Or that thing I want to cook for dinner that takes an hour instead of 30 minutes.
Oh, I can soak the beans this morning and they'll be ready when I want to use them.
I can marinate the meat as soon as I wake up and cook it for dinner, right?
Fuck, I can count the number of times I've marinated meat for the appropriate amount of time on one hand.
Right. So, I mean, mostly for games, but any other sort of, digital social thing that requires an advanced setup is now doable.
Yep.
Right?
But I really urge you
You just have to be the one to do it, all the hard parts, and make it easy for the other people because they're not going to be able to do it and join in.
Yep. And even more, it's not even if they're not capable of it. It's that, there's sort of a bystander
too much effort.
effect. But the bystander effect, like if someone's hurt in a crowd, a lot of people will agree that person needs help and will call for help. But if the whole crowd is just doing that, it's easy for no one to actually call 911. Like that's a thing that happens. Mm-hmm. So this is
if I see a thing, whenever I see a thing like that going on,
it's like, has anyone called 911? I'm like, you call 911.
Right. It's like as soon I gotta I'll often like bike past an accident of some kind.
Yep.
But that's only after I verified. Okay, this is definitely taken care of. I am not needed. If it's not taken care of yet, then I stop and take care of it.
Yep.
Even if there's like a pile of people. I stop and verify and make sure.
Yep. Has someone at least called 911?
Yep.
So it's not to that direness for social interactions yet. Maybe if we're stuck like this for 6 months, it'll get a little more dire. But don't fall prey to the bystander effect. If you want this to happen and you see all your friends also want it to happen, like you're listening to this now, just be the one and make it happen. Even if it's low effort. Like Discord is a great tool because Discord streaming, we talked about it the other day, but now it's a good point to talk about it again. It just fucking works.
Yep, and it doesn't require fancy setup of OBS. You just push a button and it goes.
Yep, if the thing you're streaming does desktop audio, it just works. If you already can talk to people on Discord, then that same talking setup just transfers to the stream.
Yep.
Like it's brilliant, and you don't have to worry about privacy. It'll only stream to the people in your Discord in that channel.
There are other technologies, though, that you shouldn't discount, right? So, for example, I read a story just today or yesterday that Japanese elementary school held their graduation in Minecraft because they couldn't hold it anywhere else,
Yep.
right? So I guess they made a school auditorium in Minecraft, and there was like a green monster, whatever, the creeper on stage graduating, right? And I think what the lessons here are consider all possible technologies, softwares that let people get together,
Yep.
that people already have and know how to use and are easy, but also any event that is being canceled, right? You should find a way to replace it digitally.
Yep. Even
right?
if you can't replace it fully, it's definitely gonna be an AirSats version of that.
No. Right. But whatever, that way, it's like, if you don't have, just use that thing, even if the replacement event is basically not even remotely close to the actual event it's
Yep.
replacing, use the existence of the original real world canceled event as the seed to actually plan and execute a replacement thing. So, for example, right, hockey's not happening, right? I'm seeing people in the hockey community doing two things so far. One, they're getting together and playing the remainder of the season in NHL,
Yep.
the video game.
I was going to bring that up if you didn't bring that up.
Right.
Emily showed me that this morning.
There's another group of people who are simulating the rest of the season with spreadsheets, game by game as they happen, and then talking about them as if they happened.
Yep.
And even fantasy sportsing them as if they right? So that's right. They're using the games no longer exist, the real ones. They're just taking that seed of the thing that was canceled to instigate a replacement thing.
Yep.
Right? So if you had a thing that was happening in your life, it could have been anything. It could have been a major event like a wedding or a bar mitzvah.
Could have been a minor thing like your monthly dinner with the extended family.
Right. So whatever thing you had that was canceled, replace that thing with a digital version of the thing.
Yep.
Somehow.
Or something that is adjacent to that thing.
Get as close as, do something that counts. Anime Boston was canceled. Just get some anime panels, post them online.
Yep,
I see,
you know what?
I see artist alleys all over. People are going on Twitter, hawking their artist alley
Yep.
merch. David Peterson, who can't go to the Mouse Guard artist,
Yeah.
right? He can't go to Seattle Emerald City Comic Con.
Yep.
He's been Twitch streaming and selling all kinds of merch and all kinds of biz. It's basically like he has a artist alley booth running of him on his Twitch channel.
Yep.
Go check him out. And
But-
so many other artists are doing the same.
But here's the key. You don't feel like you have to be productive in these endeavors. Like we're going to do a bunch of social stuff, but we're also aiming toward like
it
live
doesn't have to be
streaming it to all of
productive.
you.
It's just replacing the
Yeah.
hanging out that you've lost.
But like if you make this hanging out work just for like you and 4 friends,
hanging out
that
isn't
is
productive.
totally
It's just
fine.
hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, like Geek Nights, we always talk a lot. If we had tried to do this earlier in our lives, like while we were still at RIT, we'd probably be more successful now, but we probably couldn't have made Geek Nights.
Would we, if we didn't be more successful in 15 years, we're going to be more successful in 20 years?
I think that
You're saying 5 years from now we'll be more successful?
I think what I'm saying is that there was a time when the iron was hotter to strike on some of this stuff.
Maybe.
But if we had tried,
Pretty sure we've been there every time the podcast iron has been struck.
if we
We've
had
been
tried to do anything serious at RIT instead of wasting all that time, we could never have made anything we've ever made. The only reason we can make any of this is because we wasted all that time at RIT. That wasted time is what made me who I am.
Yeah, we wouldn't
would
have
not
played
give up
Puerto
that
Rico
wasted time.
90 times and learned how to talk about board games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I say wasted, but it's not wasted. That's what
If
I
I
spent
had
my
not
time
played
on.
broken into a conference room to play BattleTech, when would I have ever been able to tell a story about breaking into a conference room to play BattleTech?
Yeah, but no, if we would have been like, our friends would have been like, yo, Building 7's unlocked. We're going to play BattleTech. And we're like, no, we got to work on our podcast. So, but yeah, the tools are there. I wonder, what do we do about old people and old friends? Like people who can't use this stuff.
Well, I think there's still ways.
Like how do you bridge that divide?
Well, so if someone's not super connected, right, and you want to connect with them, maybe your parents or something, right? It's like you sort of have to, like I said, make it easy for them, right? So there are things they already have that they're likely not using. You just have to, because hopefully they're bored or alone enough that you can instigate them into using them, right? So maybe instead of calling your parents, FaceTime if they got an iPhone, right? Maybe, it's like maybe they got an Apple TV. I'm sure there's some Apple TV thing you can do that you just never bothered to do, some feature in there to connect with them. Watch, I don't know. I haven't ever used an Apple TV, and what do I know?
Yeah.
Right? But whatever technology they've already got set up, right? You go through the effort, smart Monday listener technology person, and figure out what they can already do that they're not doing, right? And do as much of it you can on your end to get the other person in from their end, right? The best thing would be to do is, ideally, you can set something up where you can send them a link to click on in an email, right? And the link will do everything.
And honestly, you might just have to take it where you can get it. Like, you might end up having to make an SMS group chat with, like, all your relatives who don't understand how anything works. That might be annoying, but it will probably fill at least some of that social gap you're having.
Well, for example, right, it's like maybe your parents are not cool. They're not going to get on a Discord or even a Twitter, right? Maybe, but they're probably
not like my mom who, like, watches these streams and is on Twitter.
Okay, hi, Rim's mom.
Yeah.
But your parents probably on Facebook. Grandma's probably on Facebook, right?
I don't advocate using Facebook. Just delete that account.
But I'm saying they're there. You could go and figure out how to stream on Facebook, and they'll fucking see it.
Nope.
They will. So there, you can go. Go to where they are. All right. I hunger.
I too hunger.
And I gotta go.
All right. See you guys on Wednesday.
See you on the internet.